Belgium, King Albert received a request by Germany to come through their country on the way to France. So Germany actually asked permission from King Albert of Belgium to go through Belgium, because it's the closest route, to get to France. They even offered Belgium payment for any damages that might result in marching through their country. Okay? Sound like a pretty fair deal? Well, let's put it in perspective. So, I live here, you live there, and Andrew lives there. And I'm ticked off at Andrew. So I'm going to go over there and give him the old 1-2, punch him out a little bit. But I got to come through your property. Let's talk about 3 houses. Andrew has a house, right next to the house is you, right next to the house is me. Ticked off at Andrew. So I'm going to go over there and get him, beat the heck out of him, give it an effort. But I got to come through your yard to get there. So it's the quickest way to get there. You don't have a bone with either one of us because you're neutral. So I come to you and say, hey Zaid, listen, can I go through your yard so I can go over there and kick heck out of Andrew? And you say, gee whiz. And I say, well listen, I'll pay for any damages. You know, if I get halfway through your yard and Andrew ends up in that yard and we end up tearing up your yard, I'll pay for all the damages. Well, you don't have any damages now. You got a nice yard. And you got a friend in Andrew and a friend in me. Although maybe you're a little better friends with Andrew, I don't know. But you don't want to see Andrew get beat up. So are you going to let me, you want me to come through? No, King Albert says, he didn't grant permission. He says, Belgium's a country, not a road. He didn't want to get in the middle of it. He didn't want, if he lets me come through, if you let me come through, Andrew's going to assume that you're kind of on my side. Yet, if you don't let me come through, then I'm going to be mad at you. So you got to make a choice. And King Albert said, Belgium is a country, not a road. I am not granting you any permission at all to come through. Well, on August 3rd of 1914, after being denied this permission by Belgium and King Albert, Germany changes its strategy from, we're not going to go through your country, we're going to invade your country. If you don't want to let us walk through your country, we'll just take it over. So that's what they did. Okay? So again, on August 3rd of 1914, German forces changed their strategy from using Belgium to travel through to invade the country. What's it result in? Great Britain, who is committed to defend Belgium, declares war on Germany. So, who do you have in the Central Powers? Austria, Hungary, and Germany, right? France, Great Britain, and Russia now are no longer the Triple Entente. They became known as in this war, the Allies, or the good guys. Okay? So, within a few weeks, there's another European country that decides to join the Central Powers, Turkey. So Turkey decides that they will join the Central Powers. So now you've got Austria, Hungary, Germany, and Turkey are part of the Central Powers. You have France, Great Britain, and Russia. But another country comes in weirdly enough, and when you hear the name, you'll go, gee, that's interesting, in World War I. What other country came in and joined the side of the Allies? Might surprise you in comparison to World War II and what you might know about that. Say it. Japan is exactly right. Japan, ironically, comes in and joins the side of the Allies, who will be our total enemy in World War II. So Japan jumps in on the side of Great Britain, France, and Russia, and they become the Allies. So what do you have here? You've got the Central Powers, Turkey, Austria, Hungary, and Germany. Who's going to be doing most of the fighting in that deal? Germany, no question. Allies, France, Great Britain, Russia, and Japan. We're not even in the thing yet, but if we don't get in it, they're going to lose. Germany's going to win. So we got to get, they gotta have us in there to win, but we don't wanna be in, right? And they don't know at the start of this that they're gonna need us, but they're gonna need us, okay? Which takes us to our next subtopic, last one of the day. President Wilson commits to American neutrality. President Wilson doesn't want any part of this conflict at the start. So you kind of see how the thing's set up, right? You know how it started, alliances started kicking in, and where we're at with the Allies and the Central Powers, okay? We'll talk about President Wilson and his commitment to American neutrality. So, is he going to take a side? Does he have a favorite? Do you have a favorite team in this, Wilson? Who's Wilson going to favor? The Allies. He sees Germany as a lawless nation. He doesn't like Germany. He doesn't want to get involved, but he's going to favor the Allies. That's going to be his favorite. And he believes that early in the war that the Allies can win in Europe without the support of the United States. So he adopts a policy of formal neutrality. He makes it clear to the world that during this conflict in Europe, what's the American stand? We're neutral. We're not taking sides, although he's hoping the Allies win. Okay? Now, you think about this. What is this nation made up of? Immigrants. And where are they from? France, Russia, Great Britain, Turkey, Germany, Austria-Hungary. And so what happened is, because the United States is a nation of immigrants, the president's decision of neutrality is going to split the opinions of the American people. Obviously, where your ancestors are from is who you're going to support as an American citizen. So you got people in the United States during this conflict in Europe that are supporting Great Britain. You got some that are supporting Russia, some that are supporting France, some that are supporting Germany, some that are supporting Austria-Hungary. Not too many Japan at this time, and not so many Turkey. But the major countries have immigrants in the United States who maybe are favoring differently than the president. Okay? Now, here's some interesting things. Obviously, Americans whose ancestors came from Germany, Austria, or Hungary would support which side? Central Powers. How about Irish Americans? Who would they favor? What? Has Ireland ever got along with Great Britain? No. So Irish Americans are going to favor the Germans. They don't really like Germany, but they hate Great Britain, right? So you have Irish Americans. Now here's the one that is really crazy. Guess who Jewish Americans supported? Germany. Because they hated Russia, not knowing what the future was going to hold. Holy smoke. So American Jews actually in World War I favored Germany. There was no Hitler then at that time. Favored Germany because they hated Russia so bad. Now, what's the job of the president? I got to unite all these people into one philosophy of neutrality. I can't have emotions.
When did Great Britain have the Irish as slaves? When was that?
World history type stuff. But Ireland always conflicted with Great Britain. I mean, terrible. Always, yeah.
So what was the first one you said before Irish?
Well, if you came from Germany, Austria, or Hungary, you'd support the Central Powers. If you came from Great Britain or France or Russia, you'd support the Allies. Irish Americans favored the German cause. They didn't like Germany, but they hated Great Britain. And sadly enough, Jewish people in America favored Germany. Favored Germany, not knowing the future of what was going to happen there when Adolf Hitler took over. So that's kind of what we're going to do. And what the deal is Wilson is going to try to unite all of these citizens and try to hold out as long as he can. But we're not going to be able to hold out because our next subtopic tomorrow will tell you about controversy that surrounds German submarines in Europe. You remember when we talked about these wars and like Britain not wanting Americans to trade with their enemies and such? Remember freedom of the seas and violation of that? The only difference here is they're going to be using submarines instead of ships. Okay. Perfect.